On a quiet street, where the wind carried more memories than footsteps, an ash-gray and white tabby cat named Luna was left behind. Her fur was soft and dusty in color, pale ash with gentle gray-brown striping, white chest, white paws, and watchful golden-green eyes. The car that once carried her family disappeared down the road without a backward glance. Luna did not understand why. She only knew she was alone. And she was going to be a mother. Beneath her tired body lived 3 tiny heartbeats, fragile, depending on her strength. For days, she waited on the empty porch. Morning stretched into evening, evening sank into night. No footsteps returned. No voice called her name. Hunger grew sharper, her legs weaker. But each time she thought she could not go on, the little lives within her stirred softly, and she whispered, faint but determined, "Stay strong, my little ones. Mama will find help." At the end of that same street stood a small blue house. Inside lived Mrs. Eleanor Harper. Her silver-gray hair was always gathered into a gentle, loose bun, with a few delicate strands framing her kind face. Her hazel eyes were warm, lined softly with age and with memory. She moved gracefully, though slowly, dressed in pastel cardigans and long skirts, a small silver locket resting against her collarbone. Her home was tidy. Soft lamplight glowed against lace curtains. A wooden rocking chair rested near the fireplace, but beneath the warmth lived a carefully guarded heart. Years ago, she had loved a ginger cat named Milo, and when he passed, something inside her quietly closed. "No more pets," she would whisper, fingers touching her locket. "I cannot bear that loss again." Then, one storm-laced evening, thunder rolled across the darkened sky, rain fell in heavy sheets, and through the roar of wind came a faint, trembling cry. Mrs. Harper paused. Her hand rested on the door handle. "I can't," she breathed, but compassion is stronger than fear. She opened the door. There stood Luna, soaked in rain, ash-gray fur clinging to her fragile frame, white paws muddy, and eyes dim with exhaustion. And then she collapsed. In that instant, the locked drawer around Mrs. Harper's heart broke open. Without hesitation, she knelt into the storm. "Oh, you poor, brave girl," she whispered. She lifted Luna carefully, wrapped her in warmth, and carried her inside. That very night, as thunder echoed across the sky, life began. Beside the glowing fireplace, on soft blankets warmed by gentle lamplight, 3 kittens were born. One bold as sunrise, one soft and watchful with quiet, thoughtful eyes, and one small and white with a perfect heart-shaped patch on his tiny body. Their fragile cries filled the once silent house. Mrs. Harper knelt beside them, tears sliding down her lined cheeks. Not tears of grief, but tears of awakening. Hope. Her quiet home no longer echoed. It breathed. It lived. Weeks passed gently. Tiny paws tapped across polished floors. Soft purring warmed every corner of the room. The ash and white mother cat regained her strength. Her golden-green eyes no longer carried fear, but peace. And Mrs. Harper laughed again, a delicate, surprised laugh, as if rediscovering a language she had almost forgotten. Then, one quiet afternoon, a sleek black car stopped outside the blue house. Luna's former owners stepped out. "We've come back for her," they said softly. Mrs. Harper's heart trembled, but she did something extraordinary. She stepped aside, knelt down, and met Luna's eyes. Her voice was calm, steady, filled with selfless love. "If you wish to go, you may." Luna walked slowly toward the open door. The air grew heavy, still. But just before crossing the threshold, she stopped. She turned and walked back, pressing her soft, ash-gray head against Mrs. Harper's trembling hand. The kittens followed close behind. The decision was quiet, but powerful, not made from fear, but from trust. The car eventually drove away, and that evening, Mrs. Harper sat in her rocking chair, holding the smallest kitten close. She felt something extraordinary. The ache she had guarded for years had vanished. In its place was warmth. Luna had not only found a home, she had restored one. And the lonely woman with silver hair, who once whispered, "Never again," now whispered, softly, filled with light, "Stay, forever." And on that quiet street, where the wind carried only memories, it now carried something new. Not abandonment, not sorrow, but hope. Inside a glowing blue house, an ash-gray and white mother cat, 3 growing kittens, and a gentle woman with a healed heart lived not in fear, but in second chances.